going on, guys? Welcome to the Angelo Carlos podcast. I believe we're here at episode number 6. So thank you guys for watching, tuning in. We have our guest here, and I'm going to introduce you to my boy. All right, ready? As per usual for the Angelo Carlos podcast, we like to introduce via a rap. So let's do it. All right. The Bay and now lives in LA. He went to Cal and majored in integrated biology, then went to Columbia and NY to get his master's degree in nursing. He works at UCLA as a med-surg nurse, where he puts the patient first. My boy was sent from heaven. Welcome to the pod, Kevin.
Angelo, thank you so much for having me.
What's going on, bro? Thanks for coming on board, man.
Dude, thank you for the opportunity to share, my perspective. Hopefully, it can help others, or not. Just it could be entertaining,
Yeah.
Whatever.
This has definitely been in the making, and I think whatever you end up speaking about today, whatever you end up sharing about your journey and your career, it's going to be extremely helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very excited to get the ball rolling on.
Great. I look forward to it, man.
Of course. All right. So Kevin, I want to kind of go into your career, right? We're going into your career, how you got into nursing, but let's take it kind of early. Let's start from the beginning. So in high school, did you know you wanted to be a nurse? And then what were your kind of career aspirations there?
Right. Yeah. No, I did not actually. I did not know. A lot of people do know that they want to be a nurse, right? But I wasn't one of those. All I knew was I wanted to do something in health. But backtrack, even before applying to colleges, my parents really didn't want me to go to a four-year university.
Oh, really?
They wanted me to go to a junior college purposely, because they knew that we would ultimately be saving money. So that's why I didn't actually apply to that many colleges in high school. I just went directly to a junior college, and from there I knew that's when I was like, hey, that's where I need to buckle down so I could transfer to a four-year university like all my other peers that were going.
And you had really good grades in high school, right? What was that like, knowing that you
I wasn't like valedictorian or anything. I was just an average student, I'd say. A's and B's primarily, no C's really. So what? 3.8 or
that's
3.7.
really high. I could hear any.
That's non-weighted, just regular without the AP stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I could have been decently, averagely competitive out of high school, but my parents told me that, hey, Kevin, you get ultimately. You take the similar classes at a junior college for a fraction of the price, and you could always transfer to a great university that you want to go to later. And that's exactly what I did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Not many. It's actually like non-traditional.
Yeah.
Because usually, we're sold to the idea, especially in high school, go to a big university, Cal State, or well, we're located in California, so it'd be either UC system or Cal State system. Seldom JC. So yeah, and that set me apart right from the beginning.
That is interesting. And when you got to junior college, did you know what you were going to major in? How does it work in the JC system for
Great. So yeah, how it works for the JC, like in the JC system, it's a 2-year college. So ultimately, the first 2 years of any college in California are general studies or general requirements for your major. For example, you majored in business, right, at whatever college you went to. I majored in biology, but everyone has to take English, probably some mathematics for business or engineering. So I wiped all the general prerequisites out of the way at a junior college for a fraction of the price. But unlike everyone else that knew what they wanted to do, I didn't. But I did know after taking all those general prereq classes that I did want to do something in the biological sciences field or health field.
Got it.
Yeah.
That is interesting. So for junior college, how does it work? Do you stay there for 2 years, get an associate's, and then transfer out?
Yeah. Correct. That's exactly how it works. In my situation, I stayed there for 3 years because at a junior college, it's very small, like 30 kids to a course. And if there's a course is impacted, such as general college chemistry, unlike UC Davis, where there's 400 people in the class, there could only be so many kids in a junior college.
Oh wow!
So I couldn't for example, get into that general chemistry class my freshman year.
Oh, wow.
So I just did like English and other liberal arts courses that I needed to graduate, or get my AA, associate's degree. So I did stay there for 3 years instead of 2. But yes, traditionally, if there's no impacted courses, someone could go to a junior college for 2 years, transfer for another 2 years at a different 4-year university like Cal State or UC, and graduate with a bachelor's degree.
Talk about your mindset going to junior college. Were you ever scared that, hey, I want to get into good school, or did you ever see your friends at the UCs or at state schools?
That's good, yeah, for sure. That's a good question. It was a lot of FOMO, I guess. All my friends, getting into UC Davis or Cal State Chico or Cal State East Bay or anything like that.
Yeah.
They were leaving and moving out. Back in the early days when we were in high school. And I knew I was going to go to a junior college, so it really suppressed my emotions of, getting out. But I soon realized that, hey, this is my one chance to be able to get out right when I started a freshman at a junior college, because if I don't do well here, how do I expect myself to, go to a university to transfer? Because, you know what I mean? Some classmates get caught up in the freshman life, right?
Yeah.
And they have to either drop out and go to a junior college because, they're out and they get so much independence. A lot of independence can do harm to some. So I'm glad I went to JC, but it's not for everyone, obviously. If your family has the capacity to pay a 4-year tuition, just like that, then it doesn't really make sense to go to a JC. Specific nuances that make it superior, but end of the day, education is education, right?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful how you mentioned that. Right now, not all of us come from very good backgrounds, right? Where we have a lot of money to just throw at school, right?
Yeah.
I'll similar to you, where for grad school, I just had to take out so many loans from these really sketchy institutions, and then when I get out of school, I'm like, Mom, Dad, why are my loans from these weird banks I've never heard of? And I had to figure it out
afterwards, right? Not even before you sign.
Not even before signing.
After you sign.
Exactly.
They're knocking on the door.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? Yeah. And you're 18, of course, right? Whatever your parents say is kind of like the word. You're just gonna go with it. Yeah. So I understand your struggle and kind of going through that route, trying to figure everything out. Jumping back into junior college, right? 2 years are done. How did you perform in junior college? What schools did you apply to? And then what was your goal now after JC?
All right, yeah, good question. So 3-part question. I said, how did I do? Well, I knew it was going to be very competitive and it was my only shot. So I worked very hard at a junior college because I knew that was my only chance. Yeah. So, I did very well, no C's at all, A's and B's, typical in high school, 3.7, 3.8 or so.
So you had 3.8 in junior college?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really hot. It's out of 4.
4.0, just general 4.0.
So with that GPA, you honestly could get in wherever.
Yeah, so I applied, I worked hard, and then not only that, I also focused on extracurriculars like...
Oh, wow, okay.
I partaked in the honor society there, did volunteer stuff, just to stand out, partake and give to the community as well, just to stand out. And, because the application process is competitive.
Very competitive.
Especially for the schools I wanted to go to. So the schools I applied for were UC Berkeley, UCLA, UC Davis, UC San Diego, all the UCs ultimately, because we're here in California, Northern California. Those were ultimately, I was only strictly aiming at the UC system.
The UC system.
Yeah. Based off what the institution's programs were. Yeah. And my grade point average, etc. I felt like the University of California system was most appropriate for me at that time. Yeah.
Any private schools or just all straight public?
Nah, all straight public. All straight public. Yeah, just, from a financial perspective, I guess. No out of state, Just all straight public in California. Yeah.
And for viewers who are watching from not in California or different parts of the world, the UC system, the University of California system, is one of the best public schools in the world, right? I believe UCLA and UC Berkeley were ranked as number one public university in the world. So that tells you the caliber of schools Kevin was applying to. And the UC system, also for those who are curious, I'm a product of the UC system as well. It's much cheaper than going to a private university. Private universities charge around $60,000 or so, maybe even up to $75,000 for tuition fee for a year at that university. But UC's, if you're local, right, if you're born in California, live in California, I think tuition fees are around $18,000 to $20,000 a year.
Yep.
That's not including room and board, but as you can see, it's $50,000 cheaper for 1 year of school, and you're getting a quality and great education. A lot of great minds have come up from the UC system.
Yeah, so that's exactly why my eyes were set to those institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly what you said, $50,000 a year. For me, it was only 2 years, but for the average, person that goes straight out of high school, that's 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
50 times 4 is a lot.
$200,000. Can you imagine that? $200,000, or even like after expenses, $250,000 in debt at the age of 21, 22. If you kind of go that direct route, right? If you got it, go get it. But if you don't, then we gotta kind of figure it out.
Yeah, and that's what I did. And everyone is dealt with all these cards when they're born. So you just gotta deal with what you're dealt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel like as you guys watch this podcast, the journey Kevin shows you and the life he's built for himself is gonna be a beautiful journey. So we're gonna keep going on the UCs. So you applied to all these great UC schools. Where did you get into, and then what major did you apply to for all of them?
Yes, so I got into Berkeley, and that's where I went.
Mm-hmm.
I majored in ultimately biology, called integrative biology. Yeah. That's where I went. I selected there. Well, the other schools I got into were UC San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, all the UCs that I applied for.
Oh, wow.
I got
Good for you, man.
Except UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
So at UCLA, I was going to major in, I think, I don't remember, but I do remember the prerequisites I needed to complete a competitive transfer applicant at UCLA. I did not fulfill.
Oh, interesting.
I did not take Calculus 3.
You did Calc 3 before UCLA?
No, they wanted Calculus 3 for the major that I selected. I forgot what major it was.
Yeah.
But I didn't have it. So I think that was one of the biggest reasons why I didn't get in, was because you have to have all the prerequisites that they want before you transfer.
Yeah. Oh, that's
so I only took Calculus 2.
Calc 2, okay.
Yeah, so Berkeley didn't need Calc 3. No other UC needed Calc 3 except UCLA. So I didn't get into that school, but a few years down the line, I applied for a master's degree at UCLA, and I got accepted to UCLA.
Oh, that's so cool.
It comes full circle.
Yeah.
It comes full circle. When I got back into UCLA, now I work at UCLA, so
yeah.
It's just interesting. I didn't get in,
but
I'm thinking about it right now. I didn't get in transfer undergrad at UCLA, but
you end up going full circle.
Instead of quitting,
yeah,
giving up, you persevere, tenacity, you keep going, and I got in as a master's student, and then as an employee to get a W-2 employee.
That's awesome. Well, so we're gonna actually talk about Kevin's journey to UCLA too as the pod progresses. But let's jump back into Cal.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Cal is close by home, right? Were you commuting over from Berkeley to your house? Did you live on campus?
Good question.
And then what was the academic rigor at Berkeley compared to junior college?
Yeah, so I'll answer the first question. So yes, I did commute my last year, 2 of 2, right? Because I was only there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I completed my first 2 years at junior college. My parents' home is around 25 minutes away from
so close
UC Berkeley. So yeah, I just commuted. No biggie. Yeah. It was convenient, and it was a great university. It was one of the top when I applied. Top universities when I applied.
Still is.
Yeah. UCLA is up there now, but yeah, UC Berkeley is up there as well. But my third year as a student, so my first year at Berkeley, I did stay there. I stayed in the transfer dorms or the student dorms, undergraduate dorms. Yeah, it was nice because I got like we were talking about earlier, the fear of missing out. Like I really got to experience what it was like to, leave the parents' nest.
Yeah.
And experience my own independence as a young person.
Yeah.
So I think it was very necessary to grow independently. Yeah.
There's a lot of growth, I think, when you move out the house for the first time, right? Especially going to college, everyone's around your age, and you all just kind of grow together. And it's also great. It's like a lot of fun time. You make a lot of friends you end up hanging out with your whole life with.
Yeah. So like I said, but the second year after that, my parents only lived 25 minutes away, and I didn't have to stay there then because I already got my bearings at Berkeley. So I decided to just commute. So this is to save the financial burden on me ultimately.
Yeah. Because then you're paying for your loans, your tuition.
Yeah. So yeah. And then you said you had another question?
Yeah, how's the academic rigor at Cal compared to junior college?
Yeah, so it's different if you're if you're talking to a transfer student perspective. So I'd say it was just intimidating.
Yeah.
Just going from 30, like we talked about earlier, 30 students in the class, 40 maybe, to a class of like 500. Yeah, and they're all they all got into Berkeley, so they're all ultimately very stellar applicants with competitive grade point averages. So it was very rigorous, and there was a lot of imposter syndrome. Yeah, for sure. I was one of the first in my family to go to Berkeley. I didn't know too many people that I was close to in my family. So it was just so new to me. But then just like with everything, you learn to adapt. And then I just adapted. Found a tight-knit community at Cal. Met some friends at Cal. Transfers and non-transfers. And then I think having mentors really helped me personally a lot.
Talk about the mentors.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so there's this one person I know very close, and I'm still close to him today. He was my mentor. He was actually a year older than me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He majored in the same major as I majored in. So to know somebody go through an experience before you go through it, it saves you a lot of trouble because you get to learn from their successes or mishaps. Yeah. And you get to try to avoid those situations. Yeah. He was basically 1 year older than me. We went to the same elementary school, actually.
Oh, crazy.
High school, junior college, undergrad, Berkeley. So yeah, once we started as friends. We both like basketball. We're both Filipino guys. Yeah. Similar aspirations to pursue a career in health. So automatically he became just naturally a mentor to me. Yeah. I didn't seek out to him professionally through a cold call email. That's another type of mentor you could have. Yeah. Which I did at Cal. But this was just a childhood mentor that, we were going through the same things, but he was just one step ahead of me. So I was able to talk to him. Not everyone has that, but you could always find a mentor regardless of your situation if you try enough. So yeah, he really helped me navigate the life at Cal, and what experiences would allow me to outshine my other peers when it came to applying to competitive internships and stuff like that. Yeah.
And that's beautiful for you guys if you call on that. Kevin had a goal, right, at Cal, and he sought out mentors for whatever it may be, right? So if you're ever trying to achieve something, whether it be your first internship, your first job, or trying to figure out college life, find someone who's 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. That way they can basically teach you the steps they took to get where they are, because that's where you want to go as well. And it doesn't need to be, like Kevin said, a formal email, right? It can just be your buddy or someone you know of who's been there before, and just ask them, hey, I need help. And you need to realize that 99% of people, they love to help others, and they want to make sure you get to where you want to be in life. So just by asking, you can get that form of mentorship, right? But also you need to put in the work to make sure that, okay, I'm going to help this person out, but I understand that they care, so I'm going to put in my work, right? So Kevin put in the work where he studied very hard. He went to the junior college route, went to Cal Berkeley, and then this person who he met or was friends with, they allowed him to kind of follow in his footsteps and help pursue a similar career. Yeah. So at Berkeley, What did you know you were looking to get into nursing, or was it just kind of broad healthcare field? Because you did major in biology.
Yeah. So I did know I wanted to get into the healthcare field.
Mm-hmm.
It was, for me, I didn't know what I wanted to be. Of course, medical physician or medical doctor was one on my radar. Pharmacists, a nurse, or those are the top three for me. I was primarily in the medical route. Oh, you gonna say something?
Oh, and talk about that. Those top three, right? What helped you niche down into nursing?
Good, great question. I think I did a lot of shadowing.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Because it's very important to know the role that you're going to get into before you pursue it, right? Mm-hmm. So I did a lot of shadowing, and what made me decide on nursing is I saw that not only did they have the knowledge foundation that I wanted to have, the knowledge of health and healing, but they were also they were with the patient face to face a majority of the time, and they played a major role in a person's healthcare. So that really was inspiring for me. Versus a pharmacist where you don't see the pharmacist as much. They still put in a lot amount of effort and work, but they're more behind the scenes. In a pharmacy room or in the med room, and the physician, obviously they're an integral part of patient's care, using their brain, solving the whole disease complex. But what I found out, the difference between the physician and the nurse is the majority of the patients stay at the hospital. So that interpersonal relationship or connection that you obtain as a nurse can't be really seen anywhere. So that's one of the driving factors to why I pursued nursing. Yeah. Another reason why I pursued nursing, everyone's background is different, but I did some research at UCSF working with a principal investigator or a UCSF faculty member. They're studying research with Filipinos and type 2 diabetes.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So because of that internship, she was a nurse researcher, but ultimately she was a nurse.
Yeah.
So that opened my mind to, hey, I don't need to be a medical doctor to make an impactful, meaningful contribution to someone's health. I could also be a nurse as well. Yeah. So she really opened my eyes to what nurses can contribute to the medical or health society.
That's awesome. And I think Kevin touched upon something that's very important there is shadowing. A lot of my friends and family members who are in the medical field, they always recommend shadowing, which
if you can,
because that's how you understand what that typical role or job you want to get into will be like. Can you talk about how you found people to shadow? Because we have a lot of friends and people who are watching the podcast who probably are trying to get into nursing or trying to get into medicine, but they don't know what that person is. The most they know is that they read some articles online, they watch the YouTube video. How can they actually get the in-person experience?
Very good. No, that's a good question. It's very competitive. Everything's competitive. It all comes down to brute hard work. Volunteering at a hospital, local hospital or big hospital, whatever it is, and then you have to shine in that interview, at the volunteering interview.
Yeah.
I was exposed to emergency room nurses there. Just being there, being surrounded by them.
Yeah.
That's my early rudimentary exposure to shadowing. But formal shadowing, there was an internship at Cal. It was only for a select few amount of people, where you're able to shadow a physician working, 9 to 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
I forgot what the internship was called, but there was an internship in the Department of Public Health that I got accepted to. Out of all the pre-meds to try to get into that type of internship.
The DPH,
Yeah. So, I also volunteered at a free clinic in Berkeley. I used those experiences to talk about in an interview that they interviewed me for in that shadowing a physician internship. So, all these things that I did to, show that I I was serious about me being in health and making a contribution to society as a healthcare worker. Allowed me to obtain these shadowing experiences. Yeah. So yeah, through the internship at Berkeley was where I got, and then I also got another internship my junior year, my first year at Berkeley at Kaiser, and working as an administrative intern at Kaiser. I automatically had the networks to all these working healthcare professionals, a male OB-GYN delivering or caring for females with delivering babies and stuff like that. Like I asked him, being a male, how did you get in a profession where, you're primarily, involved with female genitalia? That was very interesting to me, right? So through that Kaiser internship I got, before this shadowing a physician internship I got at Cal. Yeah. This Kaiser internship I got third party, not in Berkeley, but just applying out there with the opportunity they used on Google, on the internet. I was able to shadow so many pharmacists, nurse practitioners, nurses, physicians, all at Kaiser from that internship. So yeah, it's just going out and looking and not saying, hey, it's so hard, let me just give up. You just gotta go. There's always opportunity out there.
This is giving me goosebumps, man. Yeah, awesome.
Crazy.
That's
I know.
So cool.
It's not talking about it. Talking about it right now makes me realize, man, I worked so hard to be where I'm at. You know what I mean? Because it's not easy. When you're in your role and you see all these high-paying individuals or people that are making a major contribution to society, or how did they get where they were? It's like it seems like they're meant to be there, right? But there's so many things along the way that don't get brought up. People don't see.
Yeah. So people never saw the work you put in school to apply into those roles, being on a male and an OB-GYN, right? At Kaiser, one of the largest hospitals in Northern California, and in California in general.
They even have places, organizations in Hawaii and New York, Washington D.C. as well. Yeah. But I'd say that was a big eye opener, just shadowing.
How can people get those opportunities for those who are in undergrad right now or in the position you were current? Should they just apply, fix the resume? What should they do?
Yeah, I think just look for opportunities. Look for opportunities online. Yeah. Or if there's none online, go to the actual hospital, and there's probably a volunteer coordinator there because it's such a massive hospital where they need, of course, volunteers always. Talk to them, and once you get in, and then as a volunteer, you ultimately have connections in the particular area of service that you're volunteering in the hospital. Yeah. And then talk, there's a nurse here, word of mouth sometimes too. If it's not a professional or formal position, like what I got two formal positions that allowed me to shadow. It could be informal as well. Informal. Yeah. A family friend, a relative. Maybe it's a little bit harder. But like I said, I think just getting your foot in the door, whether it be working at the hospital or even volunteering at the hospital, it'll just open doors. Like, for example, you worked at Google, you don't need to be an engineer to work at Google, right? There's so many positions at Google. Fun. A business positions, engineering positions, marketing positions, janitorial, cook positions. You know what I mean? Driving positions, maybe. Like the shuttle to get from San Francisco workers to Mountain View, that's a Google position right there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're not in math or engineering.
Yeah, you're not pigeonholed in this one specific function.
Yeah. So just get your foot in however you can. Because there's always going to be a hospital that is willing and able to, obtain your free labor.
Yeah, Kevin said that. That's actually really good what Kevin said about the volunteering or that free labor. Think of it as work experience, right? Because when you're super young in your career, right? Say you're 19, 20, right? You are figuring life out still. You don't have much experience. So the only thing you can really offer is hard work and time, right? when you're probably in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever you may be, you have experience and you can offer that specific knowledge, right? But when you're very young, you don't have anything to offer really but time and hard work because you're still learning, right? So if you find those volunteer opportunities, like Kevin said, like at the hospitals, use that as a way to network your way in, where you get to meet the surgeon, you get to meet the nurse, you get to meet whatever.
Pharmacist. Nurse practitioner, lab assistant, MRI tech, X-ray. You meet everybody there because you're in there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Kevin said, like, you meet everybody because you're in there and you're surrounding yourself with these people who you want to probably be like one day, and then they'll serve as your reference or your buddy who can refer you, whatever it may be. Just being in that area, and you're in the right amount of people. So
I like to note though, once you're in there, though, you can't just do nothing.
Yeah, go into that, Kevin.
Because you think, you're a volunteer. I'm in here. I'm in the hospital that I want to be at, and all you do is just sit there.
Yeah.
You don't interact with anybody. You don't build relationships. You're not gonna. You put in. You get what you put in. Just like watering a plant or working for something hard. If you don't do anything, you're not going to get anything in return.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very important because, people could pursue all these internships or volunteer positions or any type of position, work position, getting paid. But, if you don't do anything or you're just a person that doesn't put in any effort, how do you expect to, get any network opportunities to work for you?
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Thank you, Kevin. Like, that's when you get into that whatever internship or volunteer experience at that hospital, that's when the hard work actually starts, because that's when you start networking. That's when you start learning the procedures, whatever it may be at the hospital. Mm-hmm. So that's actually great advice for them. Yeah. I want to go in now to end of Cal, right? So we finished our 2 years. We got good grades. Now we're thinking about going to grad school.
Yeah.
What did you do to apply? Did you have to get referrals? Did you take the GRE? Then how did you pick which schools to apply to for your master's?
Excellent question. So it's just all my previous knowledge and experiences led to me where I am today, right? So I decided to do nursing my last year at Cal. So as a senior in undergrad, I decided to. So some people decide their career, 18 before going to college, right? That's what they major, right? So most likely they change, right?
Yeah.
I was one that changed. Yeah. Senior year, like junior summer, leading to senior year, I changed my major to nursing.
Oh,
that's when I wanted to. Berkeley doesn't have a nursing major. They just have like a biology or biochemistry or chemistry major. No professional degree major, because that's at UCSF.
Yeah, UCSF.
Only graduate health.
Yeah, that's true.
Career.
That's true, yeah.
Degrees. But at Berkeley, it was just general subject majors, right? Business, Berkeley has
right?
Yeah. So because of the shadowing experience I've done, the shadowing a physician, Kaiser internship, I decided to pursue nursing as a career right when I started my senior year. So I took all the classes that nurses would need to apply to a nursing program to get their California nurse license to practice professionally as a nurse.
Oh, interesting.
Which is way different than medical degree or medical school.
Yeah.
Speaking to the pre-nurses out there or pre-meds out there, for pre-meds, you need chemistry, biology, biochemistry, right? Mm-hmm. Those are the subjects that you 100% need to get into any medical school. Biochemistry, organic chemistry.
Yeah.
So I took those back in junior college and stuff like that because I thought I was going to be a medical doctor. I was a pre-med.
Yeah, you're a pre-med.
But then when I decided to do nursing, I had to take microbiology, which is like the study of microorganisms like coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
Anatomy and physiology, which is the study of the bones, muscles, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And other interpersonal communication class, like the interpersonal aspect that you get in nursing.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, interpersonal communication. So like the study of the interactions amongst interpersonal relationships.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I didn't need that to be a doctor, right?
Yeah.
But you needed it to become a nurse. Yeah, so I took those my senior year at Cal, and then I graduated I graduated Berkeley, and then after that, with all those prerequisites, I was able to apply to a nursing program. The nursing program I went to was Columbia University in New York City.
Oh wow!
So we're moving
Ivy
from
League.
yeah, and it was that it's great you say that because I didn't know anybody in my circle growing up in my life
Well, Ivy League.
that went to an Ivy League. There's probably a lot of people that have other perspectives on that, but for me, nobody, zilch, nobody.
Yeah, that's so cool, man.
Yeah, so that was a big incentive for me to go
Yeah.
to Columbia. That was one.
Were you scared?
I was excited, man. Like I worked so hard.
Yeah.
Barack Obama went there.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, give me goosebumps again, man. That's awesome.
It's like wow. Like when I got into Columbia, like
Did you cry? Yeah.
I didn't cry, but I just was so excited.
Yeah.
I was just so excited. Yeah, I was just really excited. I actually found out on public transportation on BART.
Oh, no way.
Taking the public transportation, the bus equivalent, wherever you're at.
Yeah.
It's like you get in, it's like, wow.
Were you with anyone?
No, I was just by myself.
Or you refreshed your iPhone and what?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So there's Columbia University is, as you may or may not know, is an Ivy League institution, a very old institution here in the United States of America.
Yeah. Sure, Warren Buffett went to school too. A lot of great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I know Trump went to UPenn. He's a business magnet, right?
And Elon was also UPenn too.
Yeah. But Columbia, New York, a lot of notable alumni went there, including myself.
Yeah. Next big thing in Columbia.
Yeah, so I chose Columbia because I wanted to be a nurse practitioner, actually.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that.
Versus a nurse, they're very different.
Yeah.
They're
You go into that?
Yeah, and in the short terms, nurse practitioners have the capacity and the knowledge to prescribe an individual medication.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. So, for example, let's say you have, talking about your health, high blood pressure,
Blood pressure, yeah.
right? 120/80 is a normal. If you have high blood pressure, a nurse could, in a hospital setting, have the knowledge to anticipate to give you blood pressure medication or medication to control your blood pressure.
Oh, interesting.
But they cannot prescribe.
You can't prescribe.
Yeah, for sure can't prescribe. Like, I can't tell you as a nurse, hey, Angelo, this medication is the perfect medication for your blood pressure.
Sure.
We don't have the knowledge or capacity to do that. So, a nurse practitioner, they're educated a little bit more to have that capacity to prescribe certain medications to people. Yeah.
Oh,
so that's one of the biggest. There's a lot of differences, depending on the type of nurse you are, but ultimately it's the privilege of prescribing.
The privilege of prescribing.
Yeah. So I didn't. So yeah, I got into Columbia thinking that I was going to become a nurse practitioner, but different life factors entered, and I decided not to pursue a nurse practitioner at this time. That doesn't mean I don't want to one day, but at this time I didn't. So, in order to get into Columbia, though, you had to take the GRE at the time. A lot of now, post-coronavirus, actually, they eliminated that prerequisite.
They did, right? Yeah.
Whether it be business school or health any graduate school. But I applied before coronavirus, so a lot of graduate schools wanted the GRE requirement.
Yeah.
And it was very, very difficult, but I still managed to be competitive with my scores to get into the program. So other schools I was looking at UCLA School of Nursing, a master's program for me to get my RN, which I got into, but I decided not to go. Because they did not offer a nurse practitioner program.
Oh, they didn't?
Yeah. Only Columbia did.
No way.
I graduate with the opportunity to obtain my nurse practitioner license to practice in New York, ultimately in California. So that was the biggest thing that made me want to go to Columbia.
Oh, that's so interesting.
So that made me not pursue UCLA because UCLA was only a registered nurse program, not a nurse practitioner program. So my story is very, very unique and specific, but it's very common though, especially for folks that went to a university and wants to pursue higher education in health, they think about these options like how I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's probably someone out there watching this that is trying to figure out whether or not they should pursue becoming a nurse practitioner or pursue becoming a nurse. So yeah, this will for sure help them.
Since you applied to be a nurse practitioner at Columbia,
yes,
can you also just still go to Columbia but then become a registered nurse instead?
That's exactly what I did. Okay. So I completed the registered nurse portion, which was like 15 months, very quickly, less than 2 years. And then after I graduated that particular portion of the program, I gave up my position for the nurse practitioner program.
Oh no!
I told the director, hey, my situation has changed.
Yeah,
we're not gonna actually pursue, the nurse practitioner program. I'm just gonna obtain my registered nurse license so I could practice already and start working.
Yeah.
So that's the decision I made. If I went to UCLA or any other program, they didn't have a nurse practitioner program after you graduate the registered nurse program.
Oh, that's Since you said UCLA, you had the ability to become a registered nurse for the master's, but then in Columbia, you could be a nurse practitioner
and a registered
nurse. Are those programs two different lengths?
Yes. UCLA's RN program, 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Columbia's RN program, 15 months.
Oh, that's so much faster.
Exactly. So that's another incentive as well to go. So there's all these small things.
Yeah. Nurse practitioner, is that 2 years?
I think an additional 2 years. Yeah.
Oh wow. So
2 or 3, I forget.
What's the total length then for Columbia's and nurse practitioner program?
Yeah. That'd be like a total of 4 years or so. Someone's independent.
So how long is the program at Columbia compared to UCLA? From my understanding, nurse practitioner is at Columbia and then just a registered nurse program at UCLA. How long are those?
Yeah, so if you have your bachelor's degree, which I already have, they have a registered nurse program at UCLA for 2 years. And at Columbia, they have a registered nurse and nurse practitioner program. The RN program is 15 months.
15 months.
And the nurse practitioner program is, I think, 2 to 3 years. So in total, if you complete the whole program, like 4 years total.
4 years. Wow.
After undergrad, right?
It's almost. I think med school also.
It's
like
4 years.
So it's pharmacy school 4 years.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. They obtain the education to prescribe, just like a great privilege to have. But those are the different routes and times for those 2 programs. There's so many programs out there, but the program that pertains to me and my decisions at that time, those 2.
Okay, that is so interesting. I want to ask you about now what it's like going to school in New York and then actually wanting to go back to California and work California. I know a lot of people who want to get into nursing, they'll get into nursing schools like, say, in New York or like Texas, say Nevada, wherever it may be, but then they want to practice as a nurse in California or in a different state.
Yeah.
Can you do that? What's that like?
Very good question. Yeah, so ultimately the answer is yes. After completing my program at Columbia in New York City, I got my license to practice as a registered nurse in New York City. But then all you have to do is, reach out to the state that you, through their website,
That's interesting.
their government website, to see how you could transfer your license. Just like, transfer my registered nursing license to practice as a nurse to California. So I just went on, the Sacramento government RN Board of Registered Nursing website, and I just, filled out paperwork, provided my degrees, licensure, and paid a fee to get my my practice transition to California so I could practice.
Okay, that's so interesting. Follow-up question on that. For those viewers who say are travel or wanting to become travel nurses, do they have to do that similar process for every state that they're going to apply?
So I'm not a travel nurse, but I think there probably is an easier way. But all your answers could probably be looked up online on the website. But I think it'd be best to consult with a travel nurse that has experience. Yeah. But for me, I just focus on one state.
One state. Yeah.
So yeah, I just didn't do it once.
And you just want to come back home in your family.
Yeah, like you said, we grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up in the Northern California Bay Area, and I just wanted to be back home. So now it's not career driven, but also personal goal driven. Like my moves. Back then, it was just pure. Like when I was in high school, like how do I get into the most rigorous university, the most prestigious, most rigorous, most demanding, to outshine everybody that I know.
Yeah.
But now it's more like, as I entered later in my 20s, I'm like, do I really want to, keep on doing it?
Yeah.
And which there's a lot of people that do, like, especially
going.
surgeons, like medical physicians that are surgeons that operate. Like, what a great privilege to have, right? Like, for me, that wasn't my path, and that's not what I wanted to do. So
I'm glad you're very transparent and honest with yourself, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has a different goal, different ambition of life.
Yeah.
Last week, we interviewed Elaine, who is in medical school right now, who just graduated.
Yeah.
He says he has 4 more years of residency, so it's like 4 years undergrad, 4 years in med school. I think almost 5 because there was a hurricane.
Oh,
and another few years of residency. So
yeah.
He's very transparent with himself too. You wanted to stay and keep going. So you're transparent with yourself too. That I want to start working and be going back to California.
A lot of big decisions are to be made. Yeah, and you should consider.
You should consider, And always be honest with yourself, right? Everyone has a different path of where they want to go in life. So just be honest with yourself. And Kevin is very honest, which is beautiful. With regards to the move from New York, congratulations first in your family to graduate from an Ivy League university, which is huge. Especially, you say you're first generation, correct?
Yeah. My dad immigrated from the Philippines at an early age. He went to American high school, American college. So he went to an American university. But to define the first generation, I'd say so, or maybe second generation. Yeah, honest.
I guess it's first if you're the first one born here in America.
Born in America. Yeah.
You have that, like, you still have a culture from the previous generation in the Philippines, but you're still trying to figure out. And I think that's the beautiful thing.
Yeah, because America is very old. So there could be third, fourth, fifth generation. So to be part of that is nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. So now that we kind of know that we graduated Columbia, how did you approach applying for jobs in California, and then what was like your first nursing job back after graduation?
Very good question. So it was very difficult.
Yeah, it's hard, right?
Yeah, regardless of how much effort you put in the early years, a lot of networking and closeness play a big part in the nursing realm. What I mean by that is, I had all my connections and ties at the New York hospitals. Columbia University, Cornell, Weill Medical Center.
Yeah.
New York Presbyterian.
Oh wow, these huge.
Long Island. Long Island Hospital. All these hospitals in New York that I couldn't take use appropriately with my networking to say, hey, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I want to be part of your community because I already am familiar. So it was very hard to come back to your home and see that all the positions to be a registered nurse in Northern California, in the Bay Area, are difficult to obtain because it's like the highest paid nurse position out of all of the United States, from Florida to Maine to LA to San Francisco. Northern California Bay Area, the nurses get paid the most, even though it's the same job.
Yeah,
they get paid the most. So that's why it's very difficult to get a job in Northern California. So I went home. I didn't land a hospital job like at Stanford, Kaiser, UCSF, the big academic institutions.
Yeah.
So I just started at a small. I was actually doing home health, so I was a nurse in the care of home care setting.
Yeah.
So after that, I worked at a skilled nursing facility. It's not a hospital. Basically, for people that are stable enough to leave the hospital and not be on strong medications at the hospital, but they're not well enough to stay at home. So they go to a skilled nursing facility. After the skilled nursing facility, I transitioned to Los Angeles, where I got into a small community hospital. And from that experience, that small community hospital was what I knew I needed to, to be competitive, to work at a major hospital, academic hospital like UCLA. And that's where I am right now. So that's why I'm at a hospital now. So now with my trauma level 1 hospital experience, I can go back to the Bay Area and, hopefully, if the positions are available, get a job with my experience at a level 1 hospital like Stanford, UCSF, or UC Davis, or Kaiser, or Sutter. Those are the major hospitals in that area.
Do you recommend for our viewers who are just graduating nursing school, trying to find their first job, can't get into the hospital, is very competitive, like you said, do you recommend doing that route you did where you just get that experience? Do you think that helped get your foot in the door at UCLA?
If I could go back, or if I had to recommend anything, I'd say gain your experience from a hospital, whatever hospital it can be. Most likely it's going to be from your home academic institution.
Yeah. Connections there, yeah.
So, for example, I went to New York City. They had contracts with hospitals so their students could learn.
Oh, interesting.
So they can, do their training at the hospitals. I say go to those hospitals that you already are familiar with, gain your experience for a year or so, and then move. Because if you choose the route I chose, I wanted to be close to my family and my loved ones.
Yeah.
It becomes a lot more difficult trying to navigate in a hospital setting when you have no connections at all. You're just like a piece of paper with words.
Yeah.
And not like a human face, someone that they already know, something like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. But it's still possible. It's a little bit more difficult. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Can we start going into your work at UCLA now?
Yeah.
What do you do at UCLA, and what's your day-to-day like?
Yeah. So I'm a registered nurse at UCLA. I care for patients in a surgical specialty, primarily that need a kidney transplant, need head and neck surgery because they have head and neck cancer, or trauma. So any person, whether it be celebrity or non-celebrity, because UCLA is highly densely populated of well-known individuals.
That's interesting.
Whether they get injured by a gunshot or a motor vehicle accident, they get stabilized in the emergency department, in the ICU if it was very serious, and then they recover on my unit. It's ultimately recover to go discharge home to be with their family. So yeah, I care for individuals that go through those experiences, which is not as common as smaller hospitals. They don't the facilities or the hospitals don't have the capacity or the physicians to care for like such particular cancers like pancreatic cancer or a gunshot trauma wound that needs emergency surgery. So some small hospitals don't have the capacity, but at UCLA they do. So I see those patients that some other nurses may not have the ability to care for.
Oh, wow. Do you see yourself staying within this department or this unit at UCLA as you're continuing your career here in Los Angeles?
Good question. Yeah, I do. Obviously, there's always a thought of, doing more, growing professionally, or moving to emergency or intensive care unit, ICU type of setting to expand my knowledge as a clinical nurse. But at this time, I'm about to be 2 years in, not even 2 years in yet.
Oh, wow, congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. What's cool about nursing is the stability, I know that unless something happens, there's always going to be work, and it's a pretty recession-proof.
Yeah, I agree. Healthcare for sure.
Yeah, healthcare. So I didn't take that into perspective. Like I just wanted to do, back in my Berkeley days, I just wanted to do something that, pertains to health and healing, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't know what these benefits that came along with being a full-time nurse. Also, my shift is 12 hours a day. So I only work 3 days a week out of the 7-day work week. Yeah, so a total of 36 weeks instead of the 40.
Yeah.
So which is another nice benefit.
Exactly, yeah.
But obviously, if I pursue a different role, like a nurse practitioner, certified nurse anesthetist, that may change. But at this time, I'm practicing as an RN right now.
That's awesome. And you kind of mentioned your shift. I want to give our viewers advice, right? So the big thing in the nursing world is that
12-hour shifts of the week.
Yeah. Do you recommend that type of shift for those who are starting out? And then you also recommend whether they do a graveyard shift or a shift in the morning, kind of what's your experience there?
Yeah, very good question. I'd say ultimately it comes down to your particular geographical region.
Mm-hmm.
Are they offering the 12-hour shifts or not? Because I know in Southern California, where we're at right now, they offer 12-hour shifts for majority of hospitals for nurses.
Yeah.
But in the Bay Area, they're either 10-hour shifts, 4 days a week.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Or 8-hour shifts, 5 days a week.
5 days a week. Yeah.
Right. So it all really depends on your geographical location.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only a 12-hour shift just because that's what UCLA, my hospital, has planned for their nurses.
Mm-hmm.
My recommendation, I say prioritize your hospital experience the most. And as far as day shift versus night shift, if you could do day shift, that'd be wonderful because, you have the same schedule as everyone else in society, right?
Yeah.
Night shift is a bit more difficult because you have to sleep when everyone's awake. So it's a lot more slower pace, I'd say, because there's less modalities involved. Like in the day, there's a lot going on with project management and physical therapy, all these different modalities in the hospital that close when it hits 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock. So it's and a lot of people are sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of patients are sleeping, right? They're resting, right? Because the rest. So a lot slower. You get a differential as well. But I say, you just have to, figure out what's best for you.
Yeah.
But if I had it my way, I'd be day shift. But it is what it is.
Yeah, day shift, right?
Yeah. No, I'm enjoying my night shift as well. It's not bad. So
that's awesome.
like you adapt. You adapt.
And that shift pays more, right?
They do.
Yeah.
See, that's another thing.
Another
Like
thing.
if I want a day shift, I'm going to be losing like X amount of dollars every paycheck that I'm already dependent on. Yeah. So it's nice to work. If they offer me to go to day shifts, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They did actually decline because different factors that we discussed.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're so young in your career and you've achieved so much,
Thanks, man.
And I'm so happy and proud of you for everything you've done. And thank you so much for telling the viewers about your career. It's going to inspire a lot of people, right? Everyone has their own beautiful journey, and I'm thankful for you sharing your beautiful journey. So now we're going to jump into the fun part of the podcast, of the show, where we do our top 5. As you know, I'm a big basketball fan, and there's a guy named Paul George, Podcast B. He is located here in LA, the Clippers. He does a top 5, right? Depending on who his guest is. Kevin, if you guys didn't know, he's a huge shoe head. He loves shoes.
I do.
A lot of great sneakers. So we're going to do a top 5 draft. And in the comment section below, I want you guys to vote on who had the best top 5 shoes. So we're going to kind of go back and forth.
Oh
so
my
the
gosh.
first pick of the draft, Kevin, is you. Who are you going to take with your first shoe? Any shoe.
Any shoe?
Yeah.
Obviously for me, because I'm a sneakerhead, I've been a sneakerhead probably in high school, so this was like around 2010 or so. So more than, now it's been 13 years or so like that. Yeah, 13 years. The first shoe would probably be Air Jordan 1.
Oh, okay. So you're taking the Air Jordan 1.
Yeah.
What colorway?
It's a collaboration with Virgil Abloh, who recently passed away. Rest in peace.
Virgil, yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be the original Chicago colorway, which is the black and red and white.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, to me that's like the best shoe of all time. We don't even need a top 5.
Yeah.
We just top 1.
We're done, guys. So okay, you go with that. So I'll go with my next pick. I'm gonna go with the Space Jams.
Oh,
So
those Jordan 11s.
Space Jams, yeah.
Space Jams, those are really good too. those are one of the few that got me into sneakers as well.
Oh, really? That was the shoe that got you into everything?
Space Jam. Space Jam Jordan. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so Space Jam. So yeah, like you said, we could just end it right here.
Yeah.
Right? Space Jam 11s, the Off-White Air Jordan 1s.
So who are you going with your second pick then?
Shoot, if we're taking back, I'll probably just do Air Jordan 3 White Cements.
Oof, White Cement's a good one. And they re-released those, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
2020, it's 2023 right now, so probably around this year, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I love the 3s. They're like probably my favorite too. I had all white ones.
Yeah.
I just got them so dirty, but I wear them every day.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, like obviously these shoes, like they're not always the most comfortable, right? You have other comfortable brands like Nike Runners or Hookahs or however you pronounce them.
Yeah.
You know, just like, back in the day, high school, just wearing a classic
J.
Yeah. It's not just it's just a hobby, right? Like, because I love basketball growing up, and then you try to see, oh my gosh, like these great basketball players like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, what shoes are they wearing when they're playing, so you could be like them on the basketball court.
Yeah.
So that's how it started for me. You know what I mean?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I guess for my next pick, I'm pretty sure these shoes are back in again, which is kind of crazy. I'm gonna go with Nike, I think SB Lows, the purple pigeons. I don't know if you remember those.
Oh yeah. Those are really
hard.
nice. Yeah, those are nice. See, that's what I'm saying. It's not just Jordans, but also like skateboarding.
Skateboard shoes, yeah.
Yeah. All right, for me, number 3. I'd say just shoe. It doesn't have to be Jordan then.
Yeah, I'll be sure any shoe.
Okay, then it'd just be Adidas Ultra Boost.
Ultra Boost, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Everyone wears them. Everyone wears them. So that'd be my third one. So yeah, that's already a good rotation.
That's a great rotation there. The Ultra Boost, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ultras are so comfy. I think they're like next to those Hokas, like they're like up there in the comfort level. Yeah. That's a good shoe, man.
All right, how about you? Bottom number what? 3 for you or 4?
3. I gotta go with the OG, bro. The Air Force Ones, all white.
All white.
They go hard. They're not comfy at all, but
they're fresh though.
They're fresh though.
See,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You just gotta Christmas time. You got a tank, a pea coat on.
Yeah. Your forces.
Yeah, you got your forces. Bring you back to high school, right?
That's awesome.
Classics. Yeah, for me, all right. Number 4 would be Off-White Air Force One. So it's Air Force One, but it's Off-White iteration. The blue colorway, the MCA.
Yeah.
So I have those signed by Virgil himself.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I have those. So that'd be my number 4.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I'm happy to have those.
Yeah, especially since Virgil passed, those are gonna be worth a lot too, and also sentimentally too for your shoe journey.
Yeah. All right, yours is number 4.
Yeah,
I went first.
Oh yeah, so you go first. All right, so I'm gonna go with this is like paying homage to your time at Columbia. I'm gonna go with the Tims, my OG Tims, bro. Because I knew in New York Tims were huge.
Yeah,
right?
they are. I didn't wear them personally because they're so uncomfortable.
They're so uncomfortable, right?
And I'm a Cali person.
Yeah.
I'm just a New York visitor, but no, New York is the best.
Yeah.
It was such a good time, man.
So I go with my Tims, and I'm glad that you have some great memories in New York.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, for me. For my last one will probably be I
know you got some heat here, so you can mention your heat if you want.
I was gonna say like some some work shoes, you know what I mean? Just to keep it classy, because we all need work shoes to go to work, you know what I mean? But I'll just end it with like black and red Air Jordan 1s.
Oh, that's a good one, yeah. Just throw it back, dude. Like Air Jordan 1s.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you?
I'm gonna go with the Fire Red 5s.
Oh, which ones? There's a black tongue and a silver tongue.
The silver tongue one.
Oh yeah, I didn't know you liked those ones.
Yeah, I used to wear that every day.
What?
And like for basketball.
Oh, you play basketball too?
Yeah, so I play it in there and I would just beat them up, but they were just so fresh. And I loved it when you would shine light or take a picture.
Yeah.
And they would just flash.
The 3M.
Yeah, the 3M was crazy. And then I like getting the sole from blue to yellow. Like that's how you know it's like
they're used and what they're meant for.
What they're meant for. Yeah, it was crazy how Michael played in those, but that was my favorite.
Yeah, I didn't know. Well, I'm surprised.
Yeah, no, I love the heat too. But
cool.
Yeah.
All right, Angelo. Well, thank you so much.
Of course, yeah. So thank you, Kev. So comments below, let us know who had the best heat, top 5. I think Kev might have won, to be honest with you. Like, my stuff was cool, but Kev was fire. So, with that being said, I just want to say thank you, Kevin, for joining the podcast. It has been an amazing journey from junior college to Cal Berkeley to Columbia Ivy League to getting your job as a UCLA nurse. If you look back, that's such a crazy journey you've been on, and I hope you're very proud of yourself, and I'm very proud of you.
Thanks, man.
And I think your journey to talking about what you did to go through all those ups and downs, it's going to help so much people throughout this, because there's so many people who maybe like at this step or wherever you are in life and they're not sure, but this video episode is going to help them a lot, give them a lot of strength and
give them some perspective, so see how one person did it. You know?
Mhm.
So I thank you so much for the opportunity to share my story.
Yes, of course. With that being said, we do have one last thing we always ask our guests.
Go ahead.
What is one piece of advice you give your younger self if you could go back in time?
One piece of advice I say. One piece of advice I'd give myself is, keep on going.
Keep on
You know what I
going.
mean? Don't give up. Because I want to be honest with you, we all face rejection. Maybe this one person out there that never faced rejection at all.
Yeah.
But if I give up the first rejection letter I got, man, boy, I'd probably still be at home on my computer wishing I was this.
Yeah.
Just keep on going. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Get up when you get rejected, and you will. Man, if you don't, you will.
You will. That's right. We're going to say no to you.
yeah. Because you can't let those stop you. You just gotta keep on going. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin's right. You're going to get rejected. And don't ever forget, it just takes one yes to change your life.
There you go.
So, we appreciate you, Kevin. Thank you, Jello family. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. When you guys come for support, it helps us grow the channel, and we'll have more amazing guests like Kevin come on board. So, thank you, Jello family. Peace.
Peace.